Welcome back to another episode in my proof series where I show you why certain things happen in mathematics. And this episode will be focusing on why the inverse of cos x, or arccos, equals negative 1 over square root of 1 minus x squared. Now I have two of these, obviously because they equal the same thing, because inverse of cosine is the same as arccos. Some people learn differently, some people see it differently, and I'm just showing you these two because, you know, if you prefer either way, then you can watch. You can watch anyway, but anyway. So, I'm going to show you how to do it. This is very similar to the inverse sine video I did, but anyway, I'll get on with it, and I'll stop saying anyway. So we have our function cos inverse cos x. And just like in my sine video, how to get rid of an inverse cos is, well, not very good with technical terms, but I know how it's done. And it's like that. I explained it just how if you had cos theta equals a, and you had a, but you wanted to know what theta was, well, you would have to find the inverse of cos, and that would give you it, because having the inverse gets rid of it. So if you put the inverse on this side, it gets rid of it on this side, essentially. So now that I've done that, I'll try not to explain it because it confuses too many people, but that's just basic algebra. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find the derivative of either side. So the derivative of cos of a function, use the chain rule, derive the outside. Derivative of cosine is negative sine. Inside stays the same. And multiply by the derivative of the inside. Now the derivative of this side, x, is just 1. I'm going to rewrite this as f dash x equals 1 over negative sine fx. All I did there was just divided both sides by negative sine fx, which gets rid of this side and divides it on this side. Okay? Now I'm going to show you. I'm going to rewrite this as well as fx equals 1. I'll put a negative 1 over sine fx. Just like if you had a negative on the top or a negative on the bottom of the fraction, the whole fraction is a negative. So we can just bring the negative out the front. Therefore, we're just left with the sine fx to deal with. The whole fraction is still a negative, but we're just going to focus on the sine fx. Okay, now I'm going to show you, and you probably have seen it before, but it's a trig identity. So sine squared, I'm going to put in the fx. You'll probably have seen it as theta. And cos squared fx. Now the theta, you'll see it as a theta, and that's fine if you're finding an angle, or you could use theta as an unknown. But as long as whatever's in the brackets on either the cos squared or the sine squared, they have to be the same for it to equal 1. Okay? They can be a theta here and a theta there, that's fine. They can be an fx here and an fx there. They can, be whatever, but they have to be this. They have to be the same. Okay, so now we have this. I'm going to rearrange it, and I'm going to have 1 minus cos squared fx equals sine squared fx. Okay, the reason I'm doing this is because cos fx equals x. So I'm trying to rearrange this in a way where I can have cos in this equation. Okay, so we need sine by itself, no squared. So how do we get rid of the squared? Well, we square root the other side. Or we square root both sides, but you don't see it on the other side. And that equals sine fx. Great. We have sine fx on its own, and we have sine fx on its own up here. So we can sub this in for that. Okay. Derivative equals negative 1 over, we're replacing sine fx with this. So it's going to look like 1 minus cos squared fx. Okay, this is good. We have cos squared fx. We've established that cos fx equals x from the previous page. Now, if we square both sides, it'll look like this. Now, you may have seen this, you may have not seen this, but I'm only doing it because if some people haven't seen it, I got to show them, because you got to learn it. Okay, so we have cos squared fx equals x squared. We can replace the cos squared fx with the x squared, and it will therefore look like negative 1 over square root of 1 minus x squared. Okay, that's good, because what do we want to do? We wanted to prove, if I can get to the first page, why the inverse of cos x, or arc cos x, equals negative 1 over square root of 1 minus x squared. And we have just proven that just here. Now, thanks for watching. I hope you've learnt something. Have a good day.